All right. Hello, everybody. So, as you can see, I'm in a new environment. Um, I have been frantically and overwhelmingly busy over the last many months, but especially the last month. I have been simplifying my life, and I've been downsizing from a big 2-bedroom place with balconies and everything down to a 1-room studio pied-à-terre because I will be traveling again pretty soon and pretty excited. So if you want to live vicariously through me, then please feel free to do so. I'll be going back to England for a month or 5 weeks or so to London, and I'll be making some, solidifying some very wonderful professional opportunities and relationships that are forming there that have begun. As some of you might know, I taught a course online with the Edgar Cayce Center out of New York City in October, and I will be teaching again, probably intuition and healing or something to do with relationships and etheric chords, and how to cut those cords and how to identify those things in our relationships. And so very excited for that. And then I also taught a course with the London College of Psychic Studies. Sorry, my hair's driving me crazy. I taught a course with the London College of Psychic Studies on an introduction to the Thoth Tarot, and that was extremely fun. And I will be also teaching again with them something. Not sure what yet. We'll be talking about it. I will go meet with them in London pretty soon. So, this is the energy of this new moon for me, but hopefully for you too. Why? Because you've got the sun in Sagittarius, the moon in Sagittarius, and you've got Jupiter that just went direct. And Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Things go direct, and there's a new moon and all this movement. Sagittarius always gets us out of the inward and back into the action. There's no good or bad here. There's no one's better than the other. It's just Scorpio is introspective and inward looking and digging to the bottom, trying to get to the truth of things, going through all the murk and the muck in order to get there, whether that's emotional, physical, spiritual, deep diving. And then Sagittarius comes back up to the surface and it says, I know what I need now. I know what I believe. I have some clarity now. I want to go act on this. I have the answer. That's sort of Sagittarius, right? And so they just get busy. They're revived from a deeper place. So you might still be feeling the exhaustion of the last chapter we had. The eclipse knocked our socks off, didn't it? That last one. Everybody I know. And so hopefully you've recovered, you've let go, you've rediscovered something, you're ready to reinvent yourself. Hopefully this new moon is going to give you that boost and that will. I'm just going to read you a little something. And this is called the Sabian symbols. Now, this quote particular is by Dane Rudhyar, famous astrologer. Now, Sabian symbols are really interesting if you are getting into astrology or prediction, because for every degree of the zodiac, there is an allegory, a little story, a little image, a little sequence of events that's captured in a little image called the Sabian symbols. And it tells a story and it's got a predictive or a symbolic meaning. A lot of astrologers use the Sabian symbols when, let's say there was, for elections, for one, they might take a look at where the sun and the moon or certain significant planets align with the Sabian symbols on a certain day to try to get a sense of what might happen. So I just wanted to read you the one for 1 degree of Sagittarius that we're in for the sun and new moon. So the allegory for this one is retired Army veterans gather to reawaken old memories. So just get a picture of that. Retired Army veterans gather to reawaken old memories. The keynote is the will to reaffirm the value of the struggle upon which civilization and group achievements are founded. That's huge, right? The will to reaffirm the value of the struggle. So, do you feel the will to reaffirm some sort of struggle that you've had? Do you feel the will to overcome? Do you feel a bit of that desire, that fire to say, "No, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna overcome whatever's been hard in my life." Feel like it's worth the fight? It's worth the effort? Do you get a sense of that? Because that's what our 1 degree Sag is about. It says 2 important factors are revealed in this symbol. The men who have come together are army men, and they are linked by actions and a type of consciousness that have roots in a common past. What we call civilization is built by constant struggles against nature, for it seeks to wrench power from nature. This element of power is seen in its most obvious aspect in the military consciousness. Moreover, all civilization is built upon the accumulated products of the experiences of past generations of dedicated people who agree to follow rather rigid procedures of work. Veterans groups in all countries seek to rekindle their memories, the old fire of well-fought battles. But the type of abstract or religious thinking normally related to the zodiacal sign of Sagittarius also implies a special kind of fire. It's a fire that burns in the now of natural living in order to build a greater tomorrow. It's a future oriented, it aspires to produce greater, wider civilization, even though it finds its roots in the harvest of mankind's past. Camaraderie and group activities are implied, but the togetherness is one of fighting spirits. This is the first stage of the 49th fivefold sequence of cyclic phases. The symbol should be understood in its widest, most basic meaning, not merely the reunion of old comrades, but as referring to the very power implied in the process of civilization as opposed to culture, thus to the perpetuation of the spirit of struggle for power. Heavy duty, huh? Pretty powerful stuff. So again, maybe during this new moon, you're going to get in touch with something that you find the will to say, this struggle is worth it for what it will build for me in the future, or for others, or for society. So for me personally, I made some big decisions that were tough. I'm a Cancer. Letting go of my stuff is not easy. Letting go of my home is not easy. Cancers are like snails. We carry our house everywhere on our back. It's like, it's hard for us. But I decided it was worth it for my peace of mind and my lifestyle to let go of a mass amount of things and start to live simply. And so that was my will and struggle for the future. And I believe a lot of people will be on a similar page to me. If they're not already, I met a lot of people that are already who came to pick up the stuff I gave away. But I believe a lot of people will be. I feel like this is a trend that's building. I see a lot of stuff about wanting to let go of things and simplify things. And even economically, this last wave that we've had from the pandemic until maybe this fall, this surge in people, you know, and I'm not judging it at all. We all coped in different ways, but it's interesting how a lot of what people did to cope during the pandemic was expand their living quarters, move, buy houses, buy bigger, buy more. And now it seems it's going to shrink and go the other way into a recession. I pretty much have been saying that, you know. I'm surprised how long the boom lasted, and I've been predicting a recession for quite a while too. So it's also another way of aligning with the energy that the reality of the energy that is going on is to start to prepare your mind to let go and adapt. Because we don't need as much as we have to be happy. We really don't. A lot of the time, the less stuff you have, the happier you are. That's been a really great lesson, to put into practice for me. But I think it will be a trend. So I won't be able to show you the chart because I can't share my screen on YouTube, unfortunately. So I will be just talking through the chart this time. And if you're interested to see what the astrology chart looks like, then you can please go to my website and sign up for the membership, because I put the chart and links to other things, including the Sabian symbol I just read. That's on my membership area every moon cycle. And if you join that, then you'll get notified, and you'll always be able to come to the videos and see those descriptions. So I'm just going to take a look at this chart. It's the first time I'm peeking at it. So again, I calculate it for New York because I'm in Eastern time zone. And so it's very interesting to see how light this chart looks. There's not a lot of lines. Usually we take a look at the chart and you can see sometimes all of the aspects are like clustered to one side or shoved down at the bottom. Sometimes everything's spread evenly. This one, it's quite light. Again, if you want to go to my website, you can see it. But otherwise, I'll tell you, we've got a couple of aspects of squares. So you'll see red lines going sort of from 9 o'clock up to noon, 12 o'clock. And then we've got a lot of trines, which is great. A lot of blue lines, a lot of trines going from about sort of the 4 o'clock to the noon position, and nothing down at the bottom. So this is interesting as well, because when the more planets there are above the horizon line, if you see the circle of the chart and there's the horizon line where you have your ascendant and the descendant, you've got the midheaven and the Imium Coli. So if you look at the chart and the horizon has most of the planets above it, it means that we are more conscious. We're more aware. When things are below, they are more embedded, unconscious, and harder to rise to the surface. So this is a nice thing to see. So in this chart, we have Gemini as the rising sign. So a very sociable new moon. But we have Mars in Gemini right on that rising, or just in the 12th. Now that for some people can be difficult. So Mars in Gemini might make you super social, networking, firing off like 30 emails at once, kind of talking to way too many people, trying to close 5 deals at once. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot going on when Gemini has Mars. Mars is in Gemini. It's trying to multitask times 100. Now, some Mars and Gemini people can handle that level of multitasking, but a lot of people can't. So that could also lead to frustration and overwhelm and like short-circuiting feeling, or brain fog, or like spacing out, or whatever happens when you find that the mental energy is too full and overwhelmed. Some people will get nervous, anxious, twitchy, when they're mentally overwhelmed or bombarded too. Now, the other thing with Mars and Gemini is that it can be a great time to be meeting new people and networking, reaching out, cold calling, saying hello from days gone by, like super sociable. But the hard part of Mars and Gemini could be gossip, or verbally being abusive sometimes, because you've got Mars, which is aggression and sometimes, the will, but also attacking. In Gemini, which can be like dual, right? So two-faced. Mars and Gemini could be two-faced. It could be, oh yeah, yeah. Well, I can't believe she said that, Very Mars and Gemini to do that. Doesn't have to, but it could. So we just want to watch for that, because the more people that you're trying to network, or the more things, the more projects, the more people you're trying to keep track of, sometimes with that Mars and Gemini, you just might forget yourself for a minute, and oops, you said the wrong thing in the wrong way to the wrong person. Oops, you shared some details that you weren't supposed to say. You know, that's what we got to be careful of, because when you get overwhelmed and you're excited and there's too much going on, it's very easy to just like, oh, damn, I just sent that to that person and they weren't supposed to know. Oops. So that's the dangers of Mars and Gemini. So let's take a look then. We've got Sun, Moon, Venus, and Mercury all pretty tight. They are 9 degrees away. Some astrologers would say, an 8-degree orb or 9-degree orb is a conjunction. Some people would extend it to 10. I sort of feel that because there's 4 things going on all in one sign within 10 degrees, we would call that a conjunction, or a stellium even, because it's 4 planets. So like, holy cow, not only do we have the sun and moon in Sag, we also have Mercury and Venus. So it's a completely Sagittarian vibe. And then there's that Mars and Gemini over there going, rah, rah, because it's opposite. It's opposite. Sag is just like, that's what I said. That's what I think. Very singular. Mars and Gemini is, well, we could do that, or maybe this. And the Sag says, no, this is what we're doing. And Mars and Gemini goes, well, we could do it, and maybe if we ask them, and then tomorrow, and then, hey, we said this. That's what's happening. So like, Sag can be very singular and clear, thus draw back an arrow, aim and launch the archer, right? Mars and Gemini wouldn't launch. It would be like, well, but like, can't I have more than one arrow? Like, I need, but I there's 3 targets. Like, can I launch more than one at once and see where they land? It's Mars and Sag, in Gemini. Sagittarius, that's what I want. Draw back the bow, launch. And because we've got 4 planets that are doing that, that's where I would put my energy. I would try to stay away from being too multiple and too distracted and trying to do 5 things at once. Now, the other good thing, the other lovely thing, as we said, Jupiter has just gone direct today. It's in Pisces. Pisces usually squares Sagittarius, but in this case, because of the degree, we've got 1 degree of Sag, and we've got 28 degrees of Pisces. So it actually makes a trine, even though they're in squaring signs. That's why astrology is so cool, because it is mathematical. It's not just by signs. So Jupiter is conjunct Neptune in Pisces, which I've said last time during our video. Jupiter and Neptune can give you this sort of like Woodstock kind of like peace and love kind of feeling, or like just want to chill, just want to escape into my own little world, whether that's your Netflix, whether that's your, well, could be other addictions or pleasures that we escape into, could be, but it's sort of like you can be in an altered state, in a deep state inside your head. And some people get extremely spiritual in that way. Some people get very creative that way. And so it's like, wow, to have that making a trine to the sun, moon, Venus, and Mercury. It's a very visionary opening, really like awakening, feeling called, compelled, seeing the bigger picture kind of new moon. It's beautiful. So the Mars in Gemini is squaring that Jupiter-Neptune. Again, it's emphasizing, we're not putting down Geminis, by the way. We're just saying that in this case, the more you focus on like having too many things at once, too many people you're talking to, talking about too many people to too many people, having like 6 projects on the go, wondering, oh, bargaining, could we do maybe this and maybe that? Any kind of gossip that you're doing, stop it. Because when it squares with Jupiter and Neptune, it could get ugly. That's a recipe for secrets and manipulations. So you want to focus on being the single, clear, draw back your bow with your vision, with your optimism, with your compassion, and don't get pulled into the fray of the other distraction, anxiety, mental chaos. If anything brings you that feeling, overwhelm, mental chaos, no thank you. Stick with what feels clear and uplifting right now, because this is a very uplifting new moon. Now, Saturn is helping out Mars, though. Saturn is sitting there in Aquarius still. So there is a little bit of support for those of you who might feel like, yeah, no, you know what? I'm in my Gemini mode side. That's where I want to be right now. I've got too much going on. I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep it going. So Saturn is supporting that right now. But again, the same cautions apply. Just Saturn is in the 9th house in this chart. So focus on your ethics, focus on, if you're going to get really busy and overwhelmed and be dealing with lots of people, just make sure that you're fair, make sure that you're inclusive, make sure you just sort of raise the bar with your ethics, or, maintaining a sense of ethics with others. Now, Saturn is squaring Uranus still. We talked about that the last full moon. With the North Node right there too in Taurus. Again, it's still this feeling of like busting out of the cage. A lot of us probably see that in society. All kinds of upheavals and protests and everywhere, But in your own life, maybe you feel also you're trying to bust out of something. Sometimes that just means people feel stuck. They haven't figured out the way to bust out yet. And others of you are probably actively trying to bust out and break free and bend the bars and get yourself out of whatever you feel like you've been stuck in. So, this is still going on. It's been going on for a while. And I'd have to double check when that actually is going to leave, because Saturn moves slowly and so does Uranus. Now, the last little bit that's good here is that we've got Pluto, so transformer. It's making nice aspects. It's sextiles. They're not as, how do you describe that? They're areas where things flow easily, but you work at it a bit. It's not like the trine where it just sort of automatically seems to flow and come to us. We have to work at it, but it's harmonious. And Pluto is making a nice aspect to Jupiter, Neptune, and it's making the nice aspect to Sun, Moon, Venus, and Mercury in Sagittarius. So that to me just says, focus on what's clear, what's uplifting, what brings you a new vision. Let that transform your life. Yeah. What a nice chart this time. Really nice. Really uplifting. Okay, and again, if you want to see it, go to river.rain.info, sign up for my membership, and every month, every moon, you're going to get the link to the videos, and you're going to get the chart, to see, and you're going to get the description of the Sabian symbol and how it applies to the current cycle. All right. So I said I was going to try something different this time for our readings. And so I'm not going to do it as long. I'm not going to pull the cards this time like I usually do. I'm going to ask my guides for messages for us all for this new moon, and then for each sign. And because I moved, I don't have all my stuff beside me. I know I've got some sage right somewhere in here. All right, 1 second. I'm going to find my sage. Oh, there's some. Okay. All right, good. I've missed this. So we don't need a lot of sage. I just lit a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit. You just need a little bit of the smoke. So if you want to do this with me, you can try to visualize yourself surrounded in white light, head to toe, front and back. Just take a moment to see the light all around you. If you want, you can visualize that you've got a halo of light around your head. And just check that that halo is all clean and clear. Sometimes you see there's missing spots, black spots, cloudy bits. And just mentally clean and clear that. You could, like a little vacuum or duster, whatever works for you. Just make sure that it's all clean and clear and whole. And I want you to visualize now a column of light coming down from the source or the heavens or bright sunshine, if that's easier. You see this column coming down, illuminating your halo. Passing right through and surrounding your head and your face, your neck. And just see that column of light continuing to shield and protect and surround your entire body. Just see it going from shoulders all the way down the torso, the back, front and back, your hips, around your hands, your arms. And see this light all the way around your legs, or like pants of light. Around your feet. And see it going down into the earth. And I'd like to ask Archangel Michael to remove anything in, on, or around us, no longer for our highest good. Take it to the light, take it to the source. And I'm just asking my own personal spirit guide to come through and share any messages for this particular new moon. What I'm hearing is a message about water. To protect the water and to Take care of the quality of water around you and in your life. That can be your drinking water. That can be taking care of the river that's near your house. That could be checking the well, the pipes. You want your water to be clean and clear and bringing health. Next thing he's showing me is children and dancing. Children dancing around, twirling about, moving, having fun. It's important that we honor our inner child, that we have some play, that we have some innocence. Obviously, that we protect our children as well. But we allow them to have some joy and play, not always task, 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 busy, busy, busy. Our spirit and our children's spirits need to feel free to dance and to be unstructured, to be happy and healthy, to have joy. He's showing me a lot of movement going to happen on the planet. Trucks, highways, bridges, lots of things being rebuilt, rerouted. Lots of congestion, lots of people moving from one place from one place to another. Not just from commuting, actually moving, migrating, leaving. It's also saying to pay attention to your relatives, your elderly relatives. Take special attention if people need any extra help or care, assistance, favors. Look for the things that are hard for them to fulfill and do, and see if you can fill in and help them with something easy for you that's maybe not so easy for them. So I'm going to channel what messages I get for each sign now. Okay. So Aries, what's your message? So I'm getting a message for you to be careful a little bit about your level of engagement in, like, how much energy you say yes to things, how much you say, yeah, I'll do that, or yeah, sure, I'll buy that, or yeah, I'll fill in for this person at work, or you're overextending yourself right now. It says you're overextending. So just be careful not to overextend into the level where you feel like you're stuck, you're roped in, you feel like you can't get out of something you said yes to, or you start to feel very tired, or maybe burnt out because you've overcommitted yourself. You're you're just at the beginning of this holiday season. If it's the US, you're in Thanksgiving. Here we're beginning sort of the holiday seasons. Just don't overcommit yourself because you're a bit tired right now, Aries. Pace yourself. Okay, Taurus. So Taurus, you feel very much like you need your own space right now. You need your head space. You're in a little more of a introvert or reclusive phase, not in any bad way. You're sort of feeling just good to feel, good to be with yourself, good in your skin, good to be alone, good to do your own things. You might You might be enjoying more silence. You might be turning off more, screens and TVs and music. And there's a deep need to rest, but it feels like it's coming from a sense of wanting more peace. And there is more peace in your mind lately. It's going to be a nicer holiday season for you. You're not going overboard with anything. You're feeling very grounded and peaceful. That's very nice. Excuse me. Okay, Gemini. So there's a little bit of friction around. There's a lot of expectations. Could be yours on yourself, could be other people's expectations of you, but if I'm getting a strong sense of like building and mounting expectations. It could be all of the above. You might be putting too much pressure on yourself, and other people might also be putting pressures on you. And it feels like it's pressure to perform, pressure to keep pushing further upwards, up the ladder. You know, you might feel pressure to do things on a grander scale than usual. Again, Mars is in your sign, so you are extremely busy right now, and you might feel, again, pressure, maybe even criticism from some people. Again, it's expectations is the issue. Yours need to maybe be revisited, and other people's expectations of you need to be clarified, because it feels like there's people putting a lot of pressure on your shoulders to perform. So having conversations should be enough to sort of figure out where you can take on a little bit less, or tell somebody, I can do this much, but I can't do the whole thing, or something like that. Yeah, it's all expectations to be revisited. Okay. Cancers. Well, I'm seeing a big smile coming across your face, Cancer. Some relief, some big relief. Something you've been worried for a long time, at least like a couple of months. Quite worried, and I see an enormous smile, and your face relaxed and your lips are relaxed, which means that you're coming out of anxiety and into relief. So it tells me there will be solutions to things that you maybe didn't think there were going to be, but there are solutions and some nice things coming your way. There's also some unexpected help or assistance. You won't have to really ask. It's going to be there, either in the moment or offered. You'll just need to be telling people no a little bit as well. Never easy for Cancer, but keep your peace, keep your bubble, protected if you're starting to feel relieved. And don't just go, oh, well, they need me, or this is, no, protect your bubble of peace, and don't say, you have to say no to some things, some requests, or some things that normally you'd say, oh, yeah, sure, I'll do that. But it'll tip your balance back into anxiety. Don't. Keep your bubble and go into the holiday season feeling some relief. Leos. There's some definite ambition rising here. Wow. Strong will, strong desire to achieve. maybe more than you have in a while, and you feel like you have the energy and the push to do it. You've got the confidence back that maybe you felt you were lacking 2 or 3 months ago, but your confidence is returning, and you're ready to be more in your bold aspect. And it doesn't mean I don't see you taking some big risks. It's more like you've got this confidence to stand your ground and take your place in what you were already doing. And it's just you're more confident about your position now than you were a few months ago, like back in the late summer, early fall. So if there was a situation where you were like, maybe you were trying to assert yourself, but you didn't feel it 100%. So then people mirror that by not like pushing back at you or debating you or not taking what you're saying quite seriously, or you have to say it 10 times. Now you really do have your resolve back. And if you say it, and you meant it, and you get that respect. So same situation, just a stronger version of you. That's nice. Virgos. Okay. You're feeling mentally drained. I can feel my whole head just wanting to like, oh my God, just thick pounding head. Okay. Oh, you are overthinking. You are overthinking. I mean, we know that's a Virgo trait, but like sometimes you overthink and it's, productive, right? Uh, this is not. You are way over the top overthinking something right now. You have to let go and scale back and stop. Stop trying so hard on whatever this is. You got to try to recognize if you're obsessing. Sorry, but I think you're obsessing. And overthinking is not helping the situation. And if you're getting headaches, this is why. You need some fresh air. You need some walks, some exercise. You need to go do something else to get your mind off of this obsession. Something completely different than what you normally think about would be good. Whatever that situation is, it's going to work out if you let it go a little bit. If you keep obsessing, you might just push that great thing away. So try to just step back a bit and take a deep breath until you stop getting headaches. When the headache stops, when that foggy, thick-headed pressure goes away, that will tell you that you've let go. Wow. Okay. Libras. There's sort of a spacey feeling. Things feel very sort of light but not clear. You might sort of feel like you're floating around a little bit right now, going through life okay, but not really sure what things are leading to what or what means what. Sort of like you're walking through a foggy path or a forest without knowing where it's leading. And it's a beautiful forest and it's a beautiful walk, so you can enjoy the walk, but you still can't quite see where you're going. And you might not see where you're going for a little while. You might need to just sort of embrace that you can enjoy your life without knowing 100% where you're going, point final, or at the end, in the big picture of things. But it does say that you need to be a little more grounded in order for that to be enjoyable. So if you feel like you're sort of zoned or spaced or tired all the time, or if your head's really thick or foggy, like sort of not quite from the same reason as the Virgos though, but it's just showing me your feet. Like you need to plant your feet on the ground a little more, like literally. Again, you might need to go walk. You might need to just take better care of your feet. You might need to just try to stay more present and grounded in the moment in your physical body, and not like in your conceptual mind going, I don't know what to do. I don't know where I am. I don't know why I'm here. All existential. It's like, try to bring it back to like, your physical body. So exercising, yoga, breath work, anything that helps you come back into your body. But I'm sorry, but you're not going to really know where you're going quite yet. I can't tell you, oh, it's coming soon. I think you're walking through the foggy forest for a little bit. You're just going to have to enjoy the walk and enjoy what's beautiful in the moment, day by day with it. Okay, Scorpios. So there's a bit of a disappointment around something that you're still processing, and it's not as heavy as it was certainly last year, and getting a little bit lighter over the year. But there's still a little trace of disappointment on something or someone, and you feel like you're making peace with it pretty well, but it's still there, you know? Because whatever it was about this situation, person, whether it's past or current, that disappointed you, it's touching a deep button about something about life, something that you observe or chronically go through in life that you feel is either not fair or tragic that people have to go through, not just you. And so it's about that person or situation, but it's really more about life, the realities of life that we experience, and making peace with the nature of life and reality, or the nature of humans. You might be accepting, well, it's, you're disappointed about somebody's behavior, and then it leads you to sort of have to accept, well, this is human nature, even though I don't like it, kind of thing. But it's really minimized. It's really a lot less than it was like a few months or to a year ago, where that same kind of concept or thing might have been really bothering you, really, really bothering you. So bravo. I mean, you've come a long way to process that and to find some peace with something that's very difficult. So you're strengthening. Things are going up for you. Okay, Sagittarius. Happy birthday to all Sages coming up this next month. So there's a strong sense of walking your talk right now, walking your talk, moving forward, actually doing the actions, not just talking about it. I see things being implemented, steps being taken, decisions being made, calls being made, payments going through. Ding, ding, ding. You're not waiting, you're doing. And there's a lot of strong steps on the path. Like it's not somebody going, oh, I'm moving forward, okay, like tippy toeing. No, this is like, I'm coming, taking charge. I'm coming. My feet are on the ground. I know where I'm going, like almost marching orders. So there's a heck of a lot of momentum for you right now. The planets are really lining up and helping you. You can really launch something new. You can birth something new. It doesn't have to be new. It can be something old that you've had on your back burner and you're like, we're doing it now. It can be that too. but there's this huge feeling of like getting ready and marching on it, which is amazing. There's a lot of strength right now for you, Sag. Wonderful. All right, Capricorns. So I'm getting a feeling of a lot of ruminating, a lot of reflecting and reevaluating. Some sort of like wistful kind of mood, like sort of nostalgic for the past, wishing things were like the past, but no, they can't be. It's sort of like emotional and sort of sentimental and sort of grieving and trying to make peace with things from the past. Maybe a little bit of regrets. I wouldn't say like lots of regrets, but a little bit maybe. And it feels like you're digesting like a giant chunk of your past or your life, and you're trying to synthesize and process this so that it can pass into something else. But right now you're just in it. It's like if you ate a big meal and you're full, it's going to take some time for that meal to be digested. It's sort of like that. It's like a big dinner that's inside you that's full and you're digesting it all. And whatever that dinner was, it's like a whole bunch of situations and people and at times in your life. Part of you is letting go and part of you doesn't want to let it go yet. And so there's a lot of alchemy going on there with your stomach. Like you might be, maybe you feel it in your stomach, maybe there are digestive issues because of it, but you're basically digesting to let go, like to make peace and understand and digest a chapter of your life that is it's sort of done, and maybe you can't quite see what the new one is going to be about. So you're in this in between. So times like that, it can help a lot to talk to somebody to help you process things. It can also help to journal, instead of feeling like it's this giant meal just sitting there. You can break it down and try to, bit by bit, get a little bit of clarity on, or let go of one thing at a time, or get clarity on one person at a time, that kind of thing. But it's also, excuse me, it's also important to start to envision what you want next, because the stronger your vision of what you want for your future, the more real that feels, the easier it is to let go of where you've come from. Okay, Aquarius. So there's very nice feeling around you. There's like a percolating, uh, sort of like fireworks type of fizzy feeling around your brain right now. Like there's something feels like it's percolating and brewing and opening your mind. And there's a good curiosity. There's some good ideas and insights happening. Your mind feels like it's working well, and maybe better than you feel it has in a while, or more quickly, or oh, that you're very playful. Uh, yeah, I feel like you're feeling good about yourself, and you're feeling good in your skin, and things are flowing well. For the most part, with other people, things are flowing well. So this is nice. At the same time, you're always sort of self-contained, meaning like you keep a certain amount of your life to yourself, even if you're super close to people. You'll just always sort of guard a certain part of you that for yourself. You don't completely give your heart away or have your heart on your sleeve. And I get a feeling you sort of feel more at peace with that as well about yourself. Like you can feel close to people without giving your whole self away. Wow. Whew, that's a deep one. Okay. So, Pisces. So there's some emotional baggage to release here. Feels like relationships around you that need some clarity or boundaries, possibly some space, some separation. I'm feeling a toxic dynamic around a certain relationship around you. And it's causing too much distress in you. You're worrying or thinking about this person way too much. Way too much. It's taking up way too much of your mental, emotional energy. And so it requires you to step back a bit or say something or yeah, it's I'm not sure whether you're dealing with someone who is at a maybe needy at the for the moment, or whether this is like a needy in general kind of, you know, energy vampire type or narcissistic type, parasitic type person, or whether it's a phase or whether they're always like this. But that's the vibe that I'm getting, and you do need to take a distance from that and regain your center, because this person is not going to stop taking. Yeah. So you've got something very concrete to have to do or say in order to to distance yourself. They won't just go away magically. You're going to have to say something or do something very clear. Okay. That was good. So, I'd love it if you guys let me know if you enjoyed the live channeling version of this, because I could do more of this. And if you enjoy the tarot, then I will probably just mix them up a little bit more. So let's just cleanse one more time here. And I just want to thank the Mohawk people for the land that I am currently on, and for using the white sage, which is not my Caucasian tradition, but theirs. But I have been, over the years, always honored by Mohawk or Cree people or women, mainly the women, over the years, and I have felt accepted to use it. And I use it sparingly, but it is very powerful medicine, and I'm very grateful. I want to wish all my American friends a happy Thanksgiving week. And we're beginning the holidays. And so, gratitude's always a great way to start any holiday season. So I wish everybody a very happy new moon.